So, welcome to another episode. As you see today I'm on, that's why I'm a bit slow on uploads, and today this is not a video from my recording room in my studio at home. This is just from Spain directly. As you see, I have my Swedish shirt because we're through in the World Cup. We're gonna face Norway and France. That's something else. But today I'm still want to do a video because there was something sensational going on in the investing world yesterday. We did see the earnings call of Micron, one of the most interesting companies in the world right now. And what does Micron do? Well, they are a company in the semiconductor sector, and they are a key company in the world right now. They are doing memory chip for compute, and obviously compute is very important in the data center businesses, in AI and everything that has to do with the modern world basically. And when I read their earnings report, obviously I did know that the market cap of Micron has just went through the roof the latest 2 years, and a lot of us feels like this run should end soon because the company can't just continue to grow at the pace they have. They have already $1.1 trillion in market cap. How can such a company continue to run? I mean, at some point this bull market needs to stop, especially for a company like Micron, because obviously it's just memory chips. It's just DRAM and NAND memories. It should be more complicated stuff in the data center, but when we listen to this earnings call, we actually understood that that's not the case. They are continuing to be the bottleneck of the expansion of artificial intelligence in the world. They are increasing the intelligence of their products, making it harder for anyone else to enter their space. In the US stock market, I would say that SanDisk is the only company that you can play that are close to Micron in terms of having direct exposure to the memory chip part of the AI data centers, which SanDisk has through the NAND. So they do not exactly have the same type of memory capabilities as Micron. They are focusing on a different part of the stack basically. And well, you have Western Digital that has some SSD memory storage, but I would say they are not in the same level as Micron. So we do have Micron, and in other countries, what companies do same type of products that Micron? Well, we have Samsung in South Korea, and we have SK Hynix in South Korea. So there are just 3 companies in the world that are producing the type of technical capabilities and memory intelligence that Micron does. That is why they have such a pricing power. This is a type of oligopoly, so they are controlling the price basically because there are only 3 companies out there, and these companies has more orders and more customers that they can serve. So basically that means that there are a huge pressure on the price, and basically this has meant that these companies has increased the price of their products with 4 to 5x in a very short time. Hence why some people has become really rich if they have been a long-term investor in the companies. So back in 2021, 2022, I actually was an investor in Micron because I did feel like memory should be a bottleneck and a crunch point in the compute build-out, in the data center build-out, but I did not foresee how fast AI would take over and how much of a pricing power they would have, because usually companies like Micron is very cyclical. So when they increase the prices and the stock price of them gets higher, at some point the pricing power just turns back and the stock price just decreases, and over time it has been a lot of sideways. So despite me seeing a very low price through earnings ratio on Micron and feeling that they should be well positioned through their intelligence and their intellectual roadmap, I actually did sell off my position back in 2021 because the market was kind of going downwards in 2021, 2022, and I needed cash on hand, and unfortunately I was not having that conviction in Micron at that moment, which was sad because I was onto something. Obviously, since that the company is over more than $1 I think 1,000 to 1,500% up, and this company continues to get higher because seeing their earnings call yesterday, it was something out of this earth. They now I do not have exact the numbers in front of me, but I think the earnings were around $40 billion in one quarter, and the earnings outlook for them was $50 billion in revenue next quarter. So if you multiply that, no growth the next year, with 4, you have $200 billion in a year. So we're reaching Nvidia levels in terms of revenue almost. And if you use some kind of metrics to evaluate what market cap this company should have, if we are defensive, we can have a price through sales on 10. That would mean $200 billion x 10. That gives us $2 trillion market cap. Huge upside for this company and the stock price. So if you're a long-term investor, you should not really be worried. Do your own due diligence. Obviously, the market might find at some point that the revenue for Micron should dry up, and we can't be sure that the metrics how to evaluate the company stays the same for cyclical companies as it does for Nvidia. But anyway, if we just play with these numbers there here, that price through sales on 10 for one of the most important companies in the world, that gives us $2 trillion in market cap. If they actually continue to grow after that $50 billion in next quarter, we could see a $250 billion. And if we have a price through sales on 20, if the market feels like this is a high growth company that is very interesting, then we can see $250 billion x 20, and that's $5 trillion, and that's a almost 4.5x compared to the stock price at the moment. So this is why I'm a shareholder at the moment in Micron. I bought Micron half a year back again, despite the stock having a huge run, because at the moment I did feel there are still a lot of upside, and seeing them this latest quarterly report outperform Wall Street's expectation the way they did, it just tells me that Wall Street has a problem to understand the scale of this company and the compounded growth they have. It's actually hard for the human mind to comprehend how much they are earning and how fast they are accelerating the earnings. Also, what was interesting with Micron was the gross margin. I think it was around 85%. That is rarely seen. If you, for example, and AMD, one of my favorite companies, are often talking about they want to reach 50, maybe 55 in gross margin, when Micron has 85% in gross margin. That pricing power is something else, and that is mostly a good thing, because in terms of what they put in cost, they get out a lot in terms of revenue at the moment, and that also gives us a lot of earnings per share at the bottom line. I think it was 25 earnings per share in this latest quarter, which if we multiply that with 4 gives us a very, very low price through earnings at the moment. So this is not a highly valued company in terms of metrics. It's not like people are just buying memory shop because it's a hype. This is a company that deserves its valuation, but also seeing Micron long term, they still have the opportunity to grow here, but the gross margin 85% could be something bad also, because if other companies see this kind of numbers, they know that they are actually taking a lot of pricing power, and maybe feel the power they have together with Samsung and SK Hynix. And if they continue to just rip off their customers, maybe someone else will start to invest in factories and start to actually try to compete with them with memories. At the moment, there are just South Korean companies, SK Hynix and Samsung, and we have some Chinese companies. But if we have anyone in USA with a lot of money that want to compete with them, they might do if they continue to take out these kind of prices and margins. The hard part with competing with membership companies, a lot of companies has tried throughout the years, that is that the capex for competing with them is so huge, it's so big, especially now when AI has become so complex, and companies like Micron are collaborating with the best and most intelligent companies out there. For example, they just announced a collaboration with Anthropic. So going in there and fine-tune your products for the modern data centers and artificial intelligence marketplace, and just having the precision in your chips in the whole process is really, really hard. And I think the capex to compete with Micron might be $50 to $100 billion. So it's really hard. Very few companies that can do that, and that is why it's just 3 big companies at the moment that are competitive right now. So that's both something really positive for Micron, but it's also something really negative, or it could be negative for other companies, because it could mean that they have too much pricing power. And the one thing as a private consumer I would say is that might lead to a bit of an inflation, because when these hyperscalers pay the prices they do for the products that companies like Micron has, obviously down the line they need to increase prices for the end consumer, because memory chips is so damn expensive. And that means that to have a real world example of this, Steam just announced their Steam Machine, a new product that is supposed to be like a console, but the PC still looks like the GameCube, for example. Quite an exciting product, it should be. But the Steam Machine is I think it will be like in the pricing around $1.1 thousand or something like that. And they says that well, we don't want to sell a product that leads to us having a minus in terms of revenue for the products. We need to bring back some money because it costs a lot to produce the products. The memory cost is so big, and that is why the price is what it is. And this is what it leads to. The type of pricing power that Micron has with SK Hynix and Samsung, it leads to real world implications. So that might be the one negative thing I have to say. This won't continue forever, and as a shareholder or an investor in Micron, you have to be sharp on your analysis on their pricing power, their gross margin, their revenue growth, before you go all in terms of having them as a part of your portfolio, maybe your long-term investing thesis, especially if you go in now after their big run with the market cap increasing so fast. Because in the end of the day, despite these amazing quarterly results and their market cap still increasing and should continue to increase, you should be aware that this is a cyclical company, and if the story around them change, if other companies enter the market space, if we have a slowdown in hyperscaler spending around compute, it could be a direct hit on Micron. So that is something you have to keep in mind. But anyway, this I want to talk to you about today, to let you know that this channel continues to be something that I like to invest in and keep you up to date with latest news, and hopefully we can long-term build a community together where we can learn from each other and have a lot of fun. So thank you so much for tuning in. It's wonderful to have you here, and have a wonderful day.